Halls of Torment is a game about killing enemies. Lots of enemies, literally thousands of enemies. Follow my guide and you will see enemies crumble before you like they're nothing. Hopefully. The most important thing in Halls of Torment is knowing which traits to pick, and most of the time this is going to be attack speed and damage. The 8% attack speed increase and 10% damage increase come first in line, seeing as these work for all your weapons and abilities. Pick these every time you see them, seeing as a 10% increase to all abilities is going to be better than a 20% increase to a specific ability. Other offensive traits like area size and piercing will get rotated into your priority list depending on which character you play and which abilities you pick. For instance, characters that deal damage in an area like the swordsman will usually want area or cone size, while characters that shoots projectiles like the archer will generally want piercing. Crit can be good if you really commit to it, but again it's something that comes down to the character. Some characters like the sorceress for instance start out with a very high critical damage bonus, so it might be a good idea to scale critical hit chance if you're playing as her. Take a look at your character's base stats and it should give you a fair idea of what to scale with each one. When it comes to defense, movement speed is going to be your best line of defense. Personally, I find that the defense and block traits are a waste, and that it's better to outmaneuver enemies to avoid damage instead of relying on defense and block. There are exceptions to this, seeing as the Shield Maiden's attack scales off block. Most of your deaths won't happen due to low defense stats, but rather from being outnumbered by enemies, which is why you want to scale damage and move as fast as you can. There is a balance here though, as once you reach damage threshold where enemies just fold over, you might want to put a little something into defense, as it could help you out against the Lord at the end of the stage. Having high movement speed also helps you out a ton when it comes to dealing with elites and bosses, as you can outrun both them and their attacks most of the time. You can also use it to herd enemies into packs that makes it easier for you to take out a bunch of them in one go. This is especially helpful on characters such as the Swordsman or Shield Maiden that do area damage in a big cone. I will also urge you to not stand still too much, seeing as a lot of enemies have ranged attacks that often disappear in all the on-screen effects. Constantly being on the move generally helps you to avoid this. Whenever you start a run, you should go straight for the scrolls. Having abilities is key to getting far in a stage, and having just one extra ability has the potential to multiply your damage output by a ton. I generally level up a few times near the start before I start making my way across the map to get all of these pickups. There might be exception to this, where you want to level up your main weapon early or target specific traits without bloating the trait pool with extra ability traits, but generally you want to use these early. I will usually start with the scrolls, then head over to the well to extract an item or a flask before making my way to the magnet glove as my last stop. This way I get maximum experience soak when picking up the glove. When you start out, I really recommend that you push to unlock the Wellkeeper and the potbearer. These two will help you out a ton. The Wellkeeper gives you a set of items that you can equip to strengthen your characters, and you can unlock more items by having the Wellkeeper extract them from your runs. Some of these items can be game changing for you. The potbearer will brew potions for you. These are used when you level up to re-roll the traits you can choose, double the effects of a trait, or banish a trait for the rest of your run. If you don't want to see more health increase traits, you just remove it from the pool for the rest of the run. This is extremely helpful in making sure you don't pick useless traits while giving you more of the good stuff. Once the Wellkeeper and potbearer are unlocked, you should strive to extract one item to either of them with each of your runs. Giving gear to the Wellkeeper lets you keep it permanently and equip it for all your future runs, which is far more useful in the long term than having the gear piece for only a single run. You can only extract one piece of gear for each run, so choose wisely. I've simply been extracting the first piece that drops and that I haven't extracted yet. This way I will unlock them all eventually. You also have the choice to extract flasks for the potbearer instead of gear items. This is also quite important, as it increases the number of potions you get, allowing you up to 10 rerolls at the max. Once I unlocked the potbearer, I pretty much stopped extracting gear pieces unless I got a really good piece. Having more potion just feels so much more helpful in the long run. Once you have potions unlocked, I would also recommend not saving them and just use them whenever you can, seeing as a run can end at any moment, and having unspent potions means you wasted a bit of potential. It could have made the run last longer. I would urge you to especially use the Potions of Oblivion as early as possible, seeing as removing unwanted traits from the pool earlier means even more of the good stuff. Whenever you do a run, I really recommend that you try to target some quests. Completing quests is how you progress in this game. You unlock new traits, new characters, new items and more with pretty much every quest you complete. Some will only give you a gold reward, but these are helpful too. Each piece of gold you get permanently unlocks something that helps you progress even further on your next run. On top of this, you also get a 0.5% bonus to experience for every quest that you complete. This means that you'll level up faster in all your future runs, and you'll even be able to reach higher levels due to having access to more experience points in each run. Lots of quests are just done passively, but some will have to be targeted, so keep an eye out for those. For every run I do, I target at least one quest that I aim to complete while I'm in there. Lastly, I would strongly recommend that you do a few runs with a new character once you unlock them. Each character comes with a ton of quests tied to them, and you'll complete most of them just by playing them. These usually come in the form of killing a certain number of enemies or dealing damage with a certain damage type, but what's good is that this unlocks more traits and gear that can be used across all characters. Now let me know in the comments if this beginner's guide was helpful or if it's pure ass. I have more Halls of Torment videos coming up, so stay tuned.